On March 25, 2014, the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Energy and Power held a 2-hour and 34-minute hearing on H.R. 6, the Domestic Prosperity and Global Freedom Act. This is a 5-minute recap. Subcommittee Chairman Ed Whitfield teed things up by putting the bill in a global perspective.
One of the subject matters that is really being discussed throughout the world today is the abundant energy supply in America. While the world waits for natural gas from America, a backlog of applications to export languishes at the Department of Energy.
A Department of Energy witness defended the process.
I would like to emphasize that DOE is committed to moving this process forward as expeditiously as possible.
As a practical matter, the bill under consideration would eliminate the DOE process.
American ingenuity has propelled the United States to the #1 natural gas producing nation in the world. The shale gas revolution has provided enormous economic benefit to our nation. With the ability to sell some of the natural gas we produce, we can see even more economic benefit. The near monopolistic control Russia has on the LNG market in Europe has given them immense power, and reforming the LNG export process would send an immediate signal to the rest of the world that would help check Russia's aggression. It's a false dichotomy to say that we must choose between allowing for the sale of natural gas to other nations or keeping it here. And we will have enough for both. We will have enough for both for generations to come. There are some that are opposing LNG exports who still cling to the failed notion of Nixon-era price control efforts. Like the leisure suit and 8-track player, it's time to let it go.
Critics of the DOE process say they're taking years just to say yes. In fact, it's unclear what a no would even look like.
You've talked for a minute and a half and haven't said a thing. You know, that's not an adversarial question. Let me give you a hypothetical. If Barton LNG Exports presents an application to the Department of Energy to export LNG to North Korea to help build manufacturing capability to build missiles that would then be capable of attacking the United States, would that be in the national interest?
I would imagine that quite a bit of information would be put into the public record for us to consider in that proceeding, and we would do so.
I would hope the answer to that question would be no.
Gardner got the DOE to vouch for the value of exports.
It's definitely a net benefit.
And why would that be a net benefit?
Because increased supplies of gas on global markets and diversity of those supplies increases energy security. We're very keenly interested and invested in the energy security of our allies and trading partners.
So it would increase our energy. It would increase the security of our allies.
It is a key strategic interest to the United States.
No Democrats opposed exports, but they're all critical of the bill.
I'm in favor of LNG exports, but I have 4 concerns. First of all, gas production in this country needs to be done cleanly. Second, these large exports could impact U.S. manufacturing renaissance and the price of natural gas generally in this country. Third, LNG export facilities are already being proved faster than they can be built, so this isn't really needed. And lastly, automatic approval seems pretty extreme to me. I mean,
I'm not against exporting natural gas. I'm for it. I'm for doing it. What I hate to see happen is just like with the Keystone Pipeline. You know, not an ounce of American steel in that pipeline. The Indians and the Russians provided the steel that's going to build that Keystone Pipeline. We need Buy America provisions in this bill. If we're going to build these export facilities, they better damn well use American steel.
The committee also heard from a second panel. One witness was an ambassador urging the Congress to act now.
It is simply not true that lifting the natural gas export ban today would not have an immediate effect in the region. It would. It would immediately change the business calculus for infrastructure investments and send an extremely important message of strategic reassurance to the entire region. It is a historic opportunity to send a strong message of freedom to the region by simply letting the markets work.
Another witness highlighted America's World Trade Organization obligations.
I'm here because largely overlooked in the emerging congressional debates so far about restricting exports of natural gas is the possibility that such restrictions are inconsistent with the obligations of the United States to other members of the WTO under the WTO treaty.
Some domestic gas users testified against exports.
I urge the committee to carefully consider the adverse impact that exporting LNG will have on millions of natural gas consumers in the U.S. who will feel the impact of higher prices resulting from exposure to the global export market.
And probably the two top analysts who are used to sparring on this issue testified against each other.
LNG exports could present serious opportunity costs. Why? It's because gas-intensive manufacturing creates twice as much GDP, almost 5 times the permanent jobs, and 8 times the construction jobs as LNG exports. Also, manufacturing distributes these benefits across more states, which means more people win in more states. Finally, manufacturing has a larger trade balance impact than LNG exports.
Now, you've heard that the chemical industry will create more GDP if it were allocated a BCF of gas than the natural gas industry would create by exporting it. That's a false dichotomy, and it's bad economics in the bargain. The whole notion that chemicals or other manufacturing industries need government allocations of energy to survive is false. There's just no problem for the government to solve.
And those are the highlights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or visit our webpage.